What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got some very exciting new Digimon cards to talk about. Now, we are, I believe, with this video, pretty much up to date. They release a whole bunch of card images all at once, and we've taken a bit of time to work through them. I apologise for that. It's going to be a lot more, well, until they do the full set reveal, which will be nuts, but it's going to be a lot more regular from now on. They reveal cards, we look at those cards, jobs are good. But the ones I want to talk about today are very exciting, and we need to start with Imperialdramon Dragon Mode, because there is so much going on with this particular card. Now, what we've got is a 13 cost to play normally, which is on the higher end for level 6s. You are talking about a moderately expensive card here. And it is 5 cost to evolve, which again for a level 6 is pretty high. Though it does evolve from either blue or green, so at least you've got a nice little advantage in terms of, you know, you can build it into more decks. So I suppose that's quite nice. And you got 12,000 power, which is on the higher end of level 6s. It's not flat out phenomenal, but it ain't too bad, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't too bad. But it's got so many skills. So starting off, if this Digimon digivolves from a Paildramon, we'll get to that one later, or a Dinobemon, then the cost to digivolve it is reduced by 2. So okay, I told you that it is a 5 cost to evolve, which is quite expensive. This brings it down to a 3 cost, which still isn't phenomenally cheap, but it ain't too bad. That's a sensible cost for a level 6 Digimon. So it's kind of trying to push you to evolve from Dinobemon or Paildramon, which is quite nice, I suppose. It is worth pointing out, we looked at Dinobemon the other day. It is a green Digimon, but remember, Imperialdramon can evolve from green. And we've got both piercing and jamming, which is to say, when you take out a resting Digimon, you'll perform a security check, piercing, and you will not be destroyed by security Digimon, jamming. So it's a nice little card. It's one we like quite a bit. But then we've also here got Paildramon, which we'll look at in a little bit. Now, Imperialdramon has jamming itself, will not be destroyed by security Digimon. To be honest with you, at 12,000 power, the chances are you're not going to be destroyed by security Digimon anyway. Most Digimon that would come out as security cards will end up having less than 12,000 power anyway. But there will be some in every deck, or most decks, maybe not Rookie Rush, but most decks that are 12,000 power or more. This gives you that little bit of protection. It means if you do end up having a random level 6 or 7 that's quite powerful coming out as a security card, which is going to happen here and there, you at least will not be destroyed, so that's rather lovely. Nice. And when you digivolve, all of your Digimon with jamming become active, which is awesome. Now, ruling-wise, this should, if it's not active already, make this active. I.e., you can attack with the level 5, and then, so let's say Dinobemon, and remember, Dinobemon's got jamming, so will not be destroyed by security cards. That's usually the risk of attacking before you digivolve. If you get taken out by a security card, you don't get the chance. So you attack, you're resting, you digivolve, you've got jamming. Oh, all of my Digimon with jamming become active, I've got jamming. So you should be able here, and I don't see any reason why we wouldn't. You should be able to, when you evolve, and it doesn't say all your other Digimon, it says all your Digimon. So you should be able to essentially attack with a pre-evolution of this, and then evolve up, make it active, and go again. And that is a lot of skills in one go. Being able to have jamming and be able to... I'm a little bit stuck on this first one, alright? This first skill. Because on the one hand, I love that it's got the skill. On the other hand, it doesn't actually make it cheap to evolve. It makes it a sensible cost to evolve. So I don't know if I want to actually call it a nice skill, or whether in reality all it really does is try and force us into using one of 2 specific level 6s. I suppose we're on the fence about that a little bit. But if nothing else, it's got jamming and makes your Digimon with jamming active. And you know what? That seems pretty alright by me. Count me as a fan, quite frankly. count me as a fan. Now, in terms of making your Digimon with jamming active, what I'm really looking for here is I'm looking for a way to cheat. I am looking for a way to get the absolute maximum number of Digimon that I can to become active. That's what I'm hoping for. So what we're really looking for is your pre-evolutions, your inheritable skills, as we like to call them in the game. And my favourite example right off the bat has got to be Imperialdramon. Because you see, what we've got here is an inheritable skill that says, on your turn, if this Digimon becomes active during the main phase, it gets jamming until the end of turn. So, and then we've got plenty of things out there like Old Force Paildramon that evolves from it. If you've got a blue tamer that becomes rested, this Digimon becomes active. So essentially what we do is we evolve Imperialdramon into Old Force Paildramon. And then when your blue tamer becomes rested, and we've talked about this a bunch, there's plenty of blue tamers at will, Old Force Paildramon becomes active. Because Old Force Paildramon becomes active, it then gains jamming, so you then attack with it, and then it's resting, but then you evolve up into Imperialdramon and make it active again. And bearing in mind, these are all blue cards I'm talking about right now. This can lead you to a fairly ridiculous blue deck. Old Force Paildramon is one of the top decks around right now. Lot of play, lot of success, lot of hype. And one of the things it does is it makes itself active. I mean, when you evolve into Imperialdramon, if you've got a blue tamer, one of your Digimon becomes active. We've got ways of making it active. And now we're just adding in one more way, except you can do this for multiples of your Digimon in one go. Paildramon, if you've got a blue tamer, you've got jamming. So actually here, although that's not an inheritable skill, so my point here is that you can actually go a little bit nuts here in a blue deck, have multiple Digimon that all have jamming, and then take advantage of that when you evolve up into Imperialdramon. Now, one other one I like quite a bit, now it is a black card, so you'd have to have a mixed kind of black-blue deck to really make it work, but Greymon, if this Digimon has reboot, you gain jamming. But then again, you can always evolve it from like Toy Agamon, who has reboot. So there's no real reason here to not have reboot on there. And then whatever you've evolved from Greymon, whatever black Digimon or, in this set, non-black Digimon that can evolve from black, you've got out, can actually be made active. And obviously, if we really want to push this here, might be worth talking about for like the 20th video in a row, Digimon, which is a phenomenal card, and you could go for the black evolution line, slip this all in, and then make it active again. To be clear, I don't think it's the best way to play Digimon. I think that's got its own tricks we've talked about previously, but I do think it's something worth bearing in mind. But speaking of tricks and things we've talked about previously, and level 7 Digimon, might be a nice time to remind ourselves that Omnimon is a thing here. An Omnimon can evolve from blue, so we can totally be rocking this here. And when you Digivolve, you can return a level 6 Digimon from this card's Digivolution sources to your hand to make Omnimon active. Yeah, I know, we're making each other active every 5 seconds here, apparently. But essentially what that does is it will put this level 6 Imperialdramon into your hand, because once you've evolved into Omnimon, you don't need this under it as an evolution source. There's no inheritable skill here, so there's no reason to really have it under there at all. And now, you can evolve up, and remember this is a Digivolve skill, not a play skill, so you do need to Digivolve. You can't get the skill just by paying 13 to play it normally. But now you get another use, and bearing in mind, this is a skill that could be making 3, 4, 5 Digimon active in one go. Being able to reuse it would be huge. You might have guessed I'm quite a fan of Imperialdramon Dragon Mode. I think it's a kind of card where you're going to need to combo with it. I don't know necessarily if just putting a thin line in a regular deck is going to work, but I think if you really build a deck around jamming and maybe go for Omnimon to reuse it as well, you could be onto a real winner here. But I did promise you we'd talk about Paildramon, and we need to stop at this stage just to give a quick shout out to the lovely people over at digimoncard.dev. They are doing awesome work with these proxies, making sure we got the right translations, although they do come from the Discord team, and cleaning up these images, making them nice and easy. It's a great website, and if you're not using it regularly, maybe you should be. But Paildramon here, what we've got is a level 5 Digimon. 7 cost to play normally is about right, and 7,000 power is about right, and 3 cost to evolve is about right. Although it can evolve from either blue or green here, so you've got a bit more flexibility there, and that is the same colours from which Imperialdramon can evolve, and incidentally Dinobemon as well, so we can go properly mixed blue and green here. That would work quite nicely. And it shouldn't shock you to hear that Paildramon does have jamming, so obviously then when you evolve into your Imperialdramon, you will then make any Paildramon you've got active. So jamming here is awesome. You're not destroyed by security Digimon, and it means that you can be made active by this. And this is actually really cool here, because remember, one of the things I really want to do with Imperialdramon is attack with the level 5, and then immediately evolve, make myself active, and attack again. But that only works if I've got jamming, because otherwise I've got a 7,000 power Digimon. It's too... Unless you're playing against a Rookie Rush deck that's only playing small Digimon, it is too risky that we might end up going and actually hitting a bigger Digimon and losing it. So having jamming so you can take advantage of the attack, evolve, make yourself active attack, this is huge. But also, it's got an inheritable skill that says when attacking once per turn, if this card's name contains Imperialdramon, this Digimon becomes active. Oh. So, you know how we've been talking about how good Imperialdramon is, and how it's pretty gosh darn good anyway? Well now, if you evolve from Paildramon, and incidentally, this inheritable skill means that I am going to be choosing this over Dinobemon, well, for me personally, every single time. And then you essentially get to use it twice per turn, bearing in mind that Imperialdramon has jamming, so you don't have that usual risk of, oh, what if I end up hitting a big powerful Digimon and getting destroyed? No, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be able to attack multiple times, and this is huge, because let's say you got security attack +1, then you've got security attack +1 twice, which is better than security attack +2, because it means you're essentially attacking 4 times rather than 2. It also means security attack cannot win the game. If they've got 2 security and you've got 4 security attacks, you can take out all of their security, but you still need to attack again to win. Well, Imperialdramon doesn't have that issue, because you are allowed to just attack again. This is ridiculous. And I know I keep showing you level 6s from this set and level 7s and going, seriously, these are really, really good. They look kind of borderline busted, but I'm sorry, they do. And I am so hyped about this pair of cards. I mean, one of the Digimon that I liked way back in the day, I say back in the day, like this game's been around forever, but certainly when the starter decks came around, one of the cards that first caught my eye was the Metal Garurumon from the blue starter deck. And that's because it's got a skill whereby once during your turn, when you attack, you make yourself active. And I've played enough card games to know that making yourself active, being able to use yourself a second time during the turn, is about as good of a skill as you can possibly get. Well, this has that. And it makes all your Digimon with jamming active. And it's got jamming, and pretty much the whole line's got jamming, and I just love this. I am excited, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll be honest with you, I've shown you some cool Digimon up to now, but there is a genuine, real possibility that this is the card that I am actually most excited about that I've shown you from Union Impact so far. This might be my favourite. And given how exuberant I've been about the other cards I've shown you, that should tell you quite a lot. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about this and whether you think I am right to be so excited or whether you think I'm getting a little bit too excited. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.